Hi, my name is Katya Borgos-Rodriguez, and I will be presenting Melodie, a design inquiry into accessible crafting through audio-enhanced weaving. This work was done in collaboration with Maitraye at Northwestern University and Anne-Marie Piper at UC Irvine. The maker movement has received attention from researchers in NHCI for its potential to inspire people from different backgrounds and expertise to create. While this movement is typically associated with the notion that anyone is or can be a maker, recent work has shed light on barriers to entry that people with disabilities face in these maker spaces. Scholars have studied making among people with disabilities and proposed new tools to increase accessibility in this practice. Now, since making often involves using electronics or digital tools, accessibility efforts have also focused on creating inclusive engagements with tools like circuits and 3D modeling software. To explore more traditional instances of making, our work narrows into weaving to understand whether and how technologies could support accessible weaving experiences for people with vision impairments. The image on this slide shows Helen sitting on her floor loom preparing to pass a shuttle. Helen is a blind weaver that works at a weaving studio within an assisted living facility for low-income adults with vision impairments, which is where our study takes place. Our study consisted of two phases. During the first phase, we conducted a formative study to understand content creation among this community of blind weavers and whether new tools might fit into the process. In the second phase, we designed an accessible weaving tool informed by these insights. For the first phase of this study, we observed 19 weavers with vision impairments and 3 sighted instructors working in the studio for 8 months, and video recorded 8 weavers to capture their workspaces and process. To complement these observations, we conducted semi-structured interviews with 15 community members. The image on the right shows a weaver at the studio working on a table loom. It also shows the surrounding space with other table looms and shelves storing weaving materials. We identified 4 main themes across the data. Our analysis revealed that weaving is a learned skill that takes years to master. Weavers learn to use sound cues to create high-quality products that reflect their identities, personalities, and even past experiences. Finally, weavers express being open to the idea of introducing new tools in their work, but these technologies must respect boundaries so as not to hinder the value in hand labor. I will not go into these findings in detail, but we encourage you to check out our TACCESS paper for more information. Once we had a better understanding of what weavers might want out of a new technology, we developed a tool we named Melodie. Melodie is a customizable weaving loom that senses the basic steps of the weaving process and provides immediate audio feedback. In the following demo, the system plays musical instruments after each interaction. Piano keys upon pressing treadles. Guitar strings while passing the shuttle. And another guitar string after pulling the beater. After building the tool, we invited 4 weavers to explore the prototype individually so they could give us their feedback. Weavers at our field site felt the audio cues could work as guidance and confirmations along the process. Sarah, a sighted weaving instructor at the community studio, shared that especially from an initial orienting experience in a teaching environment, having these additional sounds could be helpful. So audio feedback can guide novice weavers towards learning best practices and develop their weaving rhythm by seeking and following these sounds. Weavers also suggested audio and even verbal cues can alert them about mistakes or disruptions to their process. However, Paul, a blind weaver, emphasized that weavers must have the agency of choosing whether and how they want to address these disruptions. Melodie also prompted weavers to think about music and weaving coming together in new ways. Jen, a blind weaver, said the size and structure of the loom reminded her of a piano, and that in fact, weaving can be like music and music can be like weaving. In this way, the aesthetics of weaving could be reimagined in terms of the crafting process itself and also completed artifacts. Finally, weavers suggested collaborative performances with sound artists could enable new interactive and collaborative crafting experiences that go beyond traditional weaving. At the same time, Anthony, who is a blind sound artist, shared that sound can be very distracting when you use your hearing for everything. And so while audio cues can support crafting in many ways, it's important to consider individual preferences and the surrounding context so that sounds becomes a positive rather than disruptive addition. Thanks for your attention.